In this video, I'm talking about the Tronsmart Apollo Bold TWS Hybrid Active Noise Cancelling Earphones, why they have some of the best features for their price point, and why the sound quality is going to depend a lot on your own personal preference. Let's get into it. What's cracking, audio fans? It's David here from Prime Audio Reviews. So here we are. This is the box that the Apollo Bold comes in. This is you probably can't tell from looking at it, but this is a really premium box. Might matter to you, it might not, but I think makes a great first impression. You hold it in your hand. This thing is solid, man. This is a solid box. It's got a magnetic flap on the front. As you open it up, you get all the innards in there. I won't go into what's inside, get all the general things, but that's a nice way to start off. Anyway, putting that aside, here's the charging case for the Apollo Bold. As you can see, compared to the hacky fit here, this thing is tiny, man. Like, look, it's almost the same size as my watch. And despite the small size of it, you can actually fit large ear tips on the earphones while they're in here without any issues whatsoever, and that is dope. So on the back is the USB Type-C charging port. There is a single LED here on the front that shows the battery status. I do wish they had like the regular 3 or 4 LEDs to give you a bit more of an idea, but really taking the battery life into consideration, it's not really an issue, and I'll talk more about the battery later. First of all, let's talk about the physical build of the earphones. And so there they are inside. They are, I don't know, I'd call them about average for a TWS in terms of size. Put that case aside for a minute. Circular shape with this little added bit on the bottom. On each earpiece there is this LED indicator on the bottom side, and that just shows you, you know, when you're in pairing mode or paired or active, all that kind of thing. On the inside here you've got your charging contacts, and these little things here are smart sensors, and they can actually, they're proximity sensors, and they can actually tell when you take an earpiece out of your ear, and when you do that, the music automatically stops playing. But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. So here they are. In terms of comfort, they are quite good. I don't find the fit as stable in my ears compared to some of the other TWS that I've got. They're pretty good. Like I can take these running and take these to the gym and things without them falling out, but I do have to sort of readjust the right side every now and then. But overall, comfort and fit is pretty good. Now, these faceplates are touch sensitive. This is where all your controls are, so you can do everything, including changing the volume, which is a feature that a lot of other TWS, or more budget ones at least, miss out. Like the hacky fit here, you cannot change the volume on the earpieces themselves. You have to do it from your source, whether that be a phone or a DAC. Now these things have got a lot of features, and I've got to be careful to make sure that I don't forget to mention any. In terms of features, the Apollo Bold is on par with much more expensive products. There are a bunch of them. So let's get started and run down quickly on the list of the features, what you get. First of all, they have active noise cancellation, and it actually works really well. So the active noise cancelling on these is superb. Like, it will cut out sounds like fans, air conditioners, engine noise. If you're on a bus, you're in a train, or if you're in a plane, man, that noise will just get wiped out, and that is dope. They also have what is called an ambient mode. You probably know what that is, but just in case you don't, Ambient mode basically amplifies some of the sounds in your immediate environment to give you an awareness of what's going on around you, and at the same time you can sort of have a conversation with people while you're still listening to music. So that's a really nice feature to have, and that also works really well on these. And finally, you can turn the ANC off. Now, it is actually on by default, which I find a little bit strange considering how the audio quality changes with the ANC on, and I'll get to that as well in just a moment. But I just want to finish the features first. So you got your ANC, you've got your proximity sensors, and there is also a phone app for Android and iPhone, and it gives you a few EQ presets, which is nice. It changes the sound a little bit, not dramatically, but that's nice to have. It also shows you the battery level of each individual earpiece, and it allows you to update the firmware for the earphones. But what I think is the coolest feature of the app is the ability to remap the touch controls to however you want. So for instance, by default, a single tap on the right side will increase volume and a single tap on the left will decrease volume. You can actually change that in the app to, you could make it a double tap, or you could make it a long press, whatever you want. And that is a nice, cool feature to have customizable controls like that. Alright, so let's move on to the sound now, and the predominant feature in regards to the Apollo Bold sound is the bass. And man, I tell you what, these have got a massive thunderous bass. If you are a bass head looking for a set of TWS earphones, these are the ones that you want, because man, these can rock you for real. These have got the kind of bass that can move mountains, the kind of bass that you feel in the center of your brain when it hits. When the active noise cancelling and the ambient modes are on, the bass level is increased quite significantly. If you turn the ANC off, with the ANC turned off, these are a different beast altogether. The sound becomes much more balanced. The bass is still boosted, but it is nowhere near what it is when the ANC is turned on. Actually, with the ANC turned off, the sound of these comes a lot closer to the Hacky Fit, which I consider to be a fairly neutral sound. But like I said, the bass is still boosted. However, when you turn that ANC on, brace yourself, because man, you are going to get shook by that bass. That is not actually a bad thing. When I first started listening to these, I was a little bit upset by the amount of bass. I thought it was quite silly, to be honest. But as I continued to use them, I actually grew to like that. And the reason is because it is a good bass. It's not just a big floppy bass. It is a big, well-controlled, good bass. It has really solid impact. It's got a good sub-bass rumble. But the thing is, it has a fairly quick decay, so you don't have all this boominess. It is not a messy bass, and it doesn't destroy the mid-range, which is very important. Now, moving on to the mid-range. The mid-range itself is boosted. It's quite forward as well. It is, I would say, on the warm side, but most of that warmth comes from the bass. But the mid-range is, it holds up remarkably well considering how big the bass is. The sound I would consider very musical, kind of on the rich side, a little bit thick, but it is not congested, and it is not a muddy mid-range either. Moving on to the treble. The treble is pretty well done on these. There is a bit of a lower treble boost, which lends clarity to the mid-range, and it helps counterbalance that massive bass. It is fairly smooth. It's a smooth treble, though it is fairly energetic, and it does add a really nice lift, and it's absolutely necessary, that lift that the treble brings. but it doesn't have a big upper treble lift. But the treble isn't sibilant on these. It's just nice and clear, brings a bit of energy, a bit of lightness. It's not the airiest sort of treble there, but it definitely works within the context of the overall signature, the bass dominant signature. So that about covers the sound. Now I'll quickly talk about how they compare to the Hacky Fit here, and I think these are really relevant because these are exactly the same price, and I forgot to mention the price. Both of these are $100. The Hacky Fit does have a more expensive variant, and the only difference is it is capable of wireless charging, but this is the basic version, $99 for the Hacky Fit, $99 for the Tronsmart Apollo Bold. And I'll tell you what, man, normally you've got to pay a lot more money to get all the features that the Apollo Bold has. Like the Hacky Fit here, it's got micro USB, that legacy micro USB which nobody wants anymore. The battery life is okay on these, but it's much better on these. While I'm on the subject of the battery life, you get like 5 or 6 hours from a single charge from the earpieces alone, and then you can get another 2 or 3 full charges from the battery case, from the charging case. So all up you get about 30 hours. So the battery life on these is really good. It's quite good on the Hacky Fit as well. But you know, what the Hacky Fit does, hang on, I'll just give you a look at the earpieces. What these do is play music. That's all you get. There is no volume control on the earpieces. You can pause and play, you can skip and rewind tracks, but that's all you can do. Oh, and you can open the voice assistant, but nothing else. With these, you can play, pause, you can skip a track, go back to the previous track, you can activate the ANC, you can activate the voice assistant, and you can change the volume. So these have got it all. In terms of sound, like I said before, these are kind of fairly neutral, especially for a TWS, and they actually sound really good. But with the ANC turned off, these two sets do sound kind of similar in their signature. So anyway, that is the Tronsmart Apollo Bold TWS active noise cancelling earphones, 99 bucks. I think that is a pretty decent price considering how good the ANC is. If you are a bass head, absolutely get these. You'll be thrilled at the thumping murderous bass they produce. For anyone else, yeah, they do sound quite good. Turn off the ANC and you get a different sound entirely. You get a much more balanced sound. The build quality is good, battery is good, case is really nice and small, very pocketable indeed. And overall, I think they're a good set. So that's it for this video, guys. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a like, Parfam audiophile style. If you are new here to the channel and you want to see more reviews like this in the future, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And until next time, I'll see you later.